Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre are both Hall of Fame caliber Super Bowl winning quarterbacks for the Green Bay Packers. One was a gunslinger from Mississippi who won 3 MVPs, and the other was a deadly accurate JUCO standout who blossomed into the king of the Hail Mary. Once teammates, they'll both undoubtedly sit next to each other in Canton one day, but for now, picture this. The Pack are down by 4 with 2 minutes left. Who's more likely to lead you to victory? Clutch. The phenomenon of athletes under pressure, usually in the last minute of a game, to summon strength and concentration to perform well and change the outcome of the game. Who's more clutch, Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers? In his seemingly endless tenure in the NFL, Favre put up a lifetime's worth of clutch highlights. His first comeback in 1992 against the Bengals was said to have birthed his legacy as he hit Kittrick Taylor for a touchdown and then took his hands off the extra point hold afterwards to seal the victory. No one can forget his toss to Antonio Freeman in overtime against Minnesota, and though it was dropped at first glance, Freeman sneakily caught the pass and walked into the end zone to win the game. Favre beat Oakland in overtime with a goal line pass to Jeff Thomason. He took down his former Falcons with a wild scramble and ended the Broncos' chances in overtime with an 82-yard bomb to Greg Jennings on the first play of the extra frame. Even in his twilight years with the Vikings, Favre had plenty of ice left in his veins, nailing Greg Lewis with 2 seconds left to stun the 49ers in 2009 and come back from 14 down against Arizona to win and then walk off into the sunset. In a way, Rodgers picked up right where his predecessor had left off. Aaron single-handedly made the Hail Mary less of a prayer and more of a parlor trick when he unleashed one against the Lions with no time left on the clock, and then another later that season against Arizona in the divisional playoff to force overtime.
That's a play you call in a street game.
There have been game-winning throws against the Bengals in OT and Miami in the house that Marino built. Against Dallas, you could almost guarantee heroics from Rodgers as he beat them with a fade to Devontae Adams and a dime to Jared Cook in the divisional playoff round. He also bullied the Bears for over a decade, throwing a bomb to Jordy Nelson to help break a 27-27 tie. He found Randall Cobb for a touchdown on 4th and 8 with less than a minute and trailing by 1. And finally, who could forget the Week 1 Classic in 2018 when Rodgers momentarily left the game with an injury, returned to a 20-3 deficit just to bring Green Bay back to win. So we know the moments that got each man to legendary status. But what do the numbers say? In 2018, a stat was thrown around that Aaron Rodgers was 0-37 against winning teams when entering the fourth quarter down by more than 1 point. As bad as that sounds, it doesn't count any of the moments we just listed, including postseason games, tie games, and matchups where a team went up after the last quarter started. And for every incriminating stat, there's one that helps glorify. From 2006 to 2018, there have been 42 quarterbacks that have thrown at least 400 passes in the fourth quarter when trailing. Rodgers' 99.6 QB rating with that criteria trails only Russell Wilson. In regards to Favre's numbers, they blow his successors away at first glance, leading Aaron in game-winning drives 43-23 and fourth quarter comebacks 28-16. But considering Brett played 298 career games to Rodgers' 174 as of 2019, which is almost 8 full seasons more, these totals can't really be relied on. What can help determine who's more clutch is their fourth quarter comeback percentage, which takes into account how many times a quarterback was tied or trailed in the final 15 minutes if he ended up winning. Coincidentally, they both currently sit with a 20% success rate, which is just about league average. Playoff records won't help either, as Favre's 12-10 mark isn't much different from Rodgers' 11-8 resume. What ultimately makes the difference here comes to each quarterback's risk-reward profile. While both seem to have the same shot at winning you a game, Favre is much more likely to give away one than his heir. In the 2008 NFC title game, he threw a pick that would lead to a game-winning field goal for New York and effectively ended Brett's career in Green Bay. In the 2004 playoffs, he threw an interception to Philly's Brian Dawkins that would be converted into another game-winning field goal for the Eagles. Finally, his last hurrah with the Vikings would end fittingly with a terrible back-across-the-field throw that resulted in an interception and a loss in his last NFC championship to the eventual Super Bowl champion Saints. After all this, it was admittedly a close call, but Rodgers wins this battle for the most clutch Green Bay quarterback of the modern era. What do you think? Did we get this one right? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to FanSided for more videos like this one, and look out for the next Clutch Series installment.